by itself could be quite unbelievable and unimaginable. Where on earth we can have one food that does all? Ladies and gentlemen, let me quantify a little. Yes, it is just one food, but the word all here means substantially a lot. There are significantly many. Do not take it as a literal meaning of the word all per se. We are looking at means and ways to educate people about this METADICHOL because it is quite new in the Malaysian market and a lot of people still are unaware of it as yet. Yet, this one food can do so much wonder for our health. And because of that, we conduct this Zoom session practically every week. The missions of why we conduct this Zoom meeting basically is to build a happy and healthy METADICHOL wellness centenarian community via education. For we believe that it is through constant education that we are able to add value to the society. So objectively here, we would like to see how this presentation can be of value to you so that you can benefit from it and you can so-called refer people in the future to come forward. However, let me start with a disclaimer. The information shared is for educational and informational purposes only. The views expressed are those of the presenter. Through my understanding of this product, I would like to share with you what is my understanding on wellness. The result and experiences shared during this presentation may vary from person to person. While we strive to provide accurate information, individual results may depend on various factors, including but not limited to genetic, lifestyle, and overall health. We encourage you to conduct your own due diligence regarding METADICHOL. By participating in this presentation, you agree to the above disclaimer. What is METADICHOL? METADICHOL is a nanotechnological functional food solution. So you can see it is a food. What sort of food? It has a lot of good function and also it is technological, plus further, it is of nano in nature. That promotes bidirectional flow. Bidirectional flow is very important to our health for it able to ensure that our body maintain and achieve homeostasis, a stable and balanced bodily internal conditions so that the body can function properly and also respond to various stressors effectively. So this food is able to help us to that extent. METADICHOL modulates our body to work genetically from within to reset and or heal itself. So this food is definitely different from all the so-called supplements that we came across in the past. And after being in the wellness industry for about 20 to 30 years, I never came across a food that can do so much wonder and can work in our body genetically and help us to reset our health foundation. So therefore, I'm very enthusiastic about it. I'm very passionate about it to share with the public what I have come across as to this product is. So this product works on 4 bodily mechanisms. The first one is it acts as a protein agonist ligand. We will talk more about it as we come along with it. Yeah? Second, it expresses genes from within our body. Third, it we may have heard of stem cell. Today, we are going to look into the possibility of reprogramming stem cell from within our body with this just one food. Lastly, it modulates endocrine system so that we have all the needed secretions or hormones so that we can live a very healthy and balanced life. So these are the 4 basic mechanisms. In this information overload society, currently we have so much wellness information. In this information overload society, confusions of knowledge is inevitable. So therefore, we are here to see what sort of knowledge may or may not be still workable. So wise to examine what we know to ensure what we know is still relevant. So do not cling just to what our past understanding. If we can always constantly review what we know so that what we know, we can keep it updated. So the first pointer I would like to pose to the group is, can humans produce vitamin C? There are 3 answers to this question. Yes, can. 2, cannot. 3, don't know. So whether can, cannot, or don't know, that is our understanding. But it's okay. Don't worry, nowadays for us to find out is not that difficult. So let's check with ChatGPT. ChatGPT did mention, no, we human beings cannot produce vitamin C due to the genetic mutations of GULO gene, while most animals can synthesize their vitamin C. From the aspect of vitamin C, we note that the human being is not as great as other animals, for they can produce vitamin C, but we can't. Therefore, obviously, in order to have vitamin C, we have been told to ingest the vitamin C from the fruit, the veggies, and the supplements that we are exposed to. Look at these published articles, which is published in 2017, called Minerals and Vitamins. And it is clearly stated METADICHOL induced high levels of vitamin C. So go and download these articles so that you can read for yourself. METADICHOL brings about 3 to 4-fold increase in vitamin C levels without the use of vitamin C supplementation. Now, as to know how the mechanism, how it works, go and download this article, or when we meet, we may be able to look into it further. Because vitamin C is a very important vitamin C because it is super antioxidant. So we need to have that to really protect our body. So in this food called METADICHOL, and there is a case study on 30 patients, and it has been proven that without supplementing vitamin C, the vitamin C level of all these 30 people all have shot up after 90 days of using this food. The second question is, can HIV positive turn HIV negative? So ChatGPT again, it is being mentioned, stated very clearly, not possible for someone who has diagnosed of HIV positive to become HIV negative. That is what we know. Now look at the possibility of that be changed. This lady, age 41, was infected with HIV 3 years ago and fully recovered after using METADICHOL for 17 months. And this lady is currently married. So it is something very interesting. Last time when people told me HIV, I just acknowledge it. I don't go deep into it to understand what is HIV. By the way, do we know what is HIV? Still, if you don't know, never mind, just go to ChatGPT. HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. It is a virus that attacks the body's immune system. And HIV blocks 100% of vitamin D receptors. And we know vitamin D is so important for our immune function. If the virus blocks 100% of our vitamin D receptors, how do we expect our body to defend us? If our body cannot defend us, therefore, obviously, we cannot recover from it. Correct? And now we want to look into the possibility of METADICHOL acts on nuclear vitamin D receptors. On the US patent paper, it involved the competitive displacement of virus particles on hosts of cell membranes of vitamin D receptors. Simply, it means vitamin D receptor occupy these host cell membranes. And this METADICHOL, what it do is it cleanse off all the blockages and get rid of all the blockages that block in vitamin D receptor, so that our vitamin D receptor become functionable. Why they go and block all our vitamin D receptor for this HIV? Because HIV virus is very smart. They know that if I block your vitamin D receptor, you cannot function. You cannot get rid of me. So therefore, you have no way of survival. However, with the help of METADICHOL, the whole thing has been changed. So worry not. Not only HIV, all kind of viruses. Once you have this food called METADICHOL, our life will be saved. Let's look at any actual case study of taking of this food, so that these results has been vastly improved. So this Madam Lim of age 66 from Indonesia came over to Malaysia for medical treatment quite often, and doctor has already forewarned her. Her EGFR has dropped to 22, while the creatinine level is at 210. And she is suffering from diabetics, high blood pressure, kidney disease, long-term medication. And doctor say, you better get ready yourself for kidney diuresis. Very concerned about it, a friend introduced him METADICHOL. And without much consideration, she took the METADICHOL, and the test report after 36 days showed improvement from EGFR of 22 to EGFR of 38. And creatinine level dropped from 210 to 128. She was so overwhelming happy. For now, she don't need to go for kidney diuresis. And they have many testimony on this product, where the company spent about 7 months to compile, go to the market for people to test out the products. And eventually they managed to collect a lot of testimony. For those people who want to know the testimonies of this product, revert back to the friends who invited you here, so he or she may be able to help you out on this. Today we are not talking about testimony. Here we are talking about how this product works. Now let us look at the American prescription drug. In our society, the most influential healthcare industry is still the drug industry. From 1997, the total prescription drug have increased from 2.4 billion prescriptions to 2006. After 20 years of duration, it has shot up to 4.46 billion prescriptions. Now, with so many drugs and with so many prescriptions, it is interesting, it is important for us to ask a simple question. Are we healthier? Are we relatively healthier? The answer is obvious no. Just look at the drug categories. In terms of cancer, you have 337 drugs. cardio diseases, you have 164, diabetics 120, inflammation, you have 142, rheumatoid arthritis alone, you have 100. Just out of these 5 diseases, you got 871 drugs. Just imagine, if one of the drugs for cancer is effective, then the other 336 will be wiped off in the marketplace. So therefore, it just implies to us, this is always by trial and error. Hopefully, the drug can work. If one drug can work, the other have to close shop. So just take note on that. When we consume drug, ask ourselves, has the doctor tell us exactly what are the side effects? According to my understanding, each drug has an average of 320 side effects. Well, on one hand, it suppresses our symptoms. Yes, you can have temporary relief, but on the other hand, you've got so many side effects. How are we going to recover our health? Let us ponder about it. So, the state of health today, more specialists, agree? More experts, more hospitals, more drugs and vaccines, but less wellness. This is a very unfortunate state of health today. Let us look it further. Modern medicine has claimed itself to be the healing power with terrible results. They control the whole health industry and they claim that they are the superpower. They can heal whatever diseases we have, but the result is terrible. Research into methods to support the organism which we are, natural healing power has been ridiculed and suppressed. So therefore, we have to understand, in this capitalist world, it is very unfortunate that a lot of things that is good has been suppressed. So if you can find one, please write on it, yeah? Modern medicines, medical science have made so much progress until there isn't a healthy human lab. Do we see the disparity now? Do we still go on to the same path, same mentality, so that we can stay healthily for life? So it is an individual choice. For me, I have been moving into wellness mindset for the past 30 years. I know what I am doing. I hope that I can live healthily until the last day of my life. So one of the statements I want to put it very strongly to us is this: outsource not our health away. Outsource not our health away. We are definitely responsible for our health. We are the author of our health and disease. We have to take responsibility for it. Yes, we may consult medical professionals. We may get second opinion, third opinion, or whatsoever. But at the end of it, there are more to it for us to take responsibility. So today, our objective is to educate us to take control of our health, outsource not it outright to medical professionals, even though you may consult them. The reversal path to health is important. If we cannot understand this, then there is no chance for us to reverse our so-called diseases back to healthy state. All diseases, make it very simple, are reducible to passive or active disturbances of cells. So take note, if you want to stay healthy, you have to take care of your cells. Yeah, if we start to kill ourselves, then is miserable. All diseases are reducible to passive or active disturbances of cells. So now, if we don't actively go and disturb our cells, we logically should be healthy. But the key to every biological problem must finally be solved in the cells. Got it? We have about 40 to 60 trillion cells. The key to every biological problem that we have, our health problem, must finally be solved in the cells. When they say in the cell, it does not mean the cell. It means the 48 nuclear receptors in the nucleus of the cell, which is the brain, the heart of the cell. In this 48, nucleus, you have very important elements inside there. We will come to it later on. So the reversal of health path, take note on that. We were born at a relatively healthy level, and then because we overwork our body, then it becomes subacute, which is the first stage of ill health. Then we still do the same thing again and again. We still abuse and we overwork our body. Then we enter into the second stage of ill health, which is called subacute. Despite the effort that we put forth, but our results has declined in performance. That is a stage of subhealth. We will experience sinus, we experience a fever, and so on and so forth. And then if we don't go and reverse it, if we move on to the third stage, 80% of all illness are found in the third stage. So if we are on the third stage, where we have asthma, pneumonia, and so on and so forth, we still using suppression method. It is the matter of time we move into the fourth stage, which is a critical stage. Then we have tumor, arthritis, and all that hardening of the arteries. And here they are using very strong drugs to ensure we survive. So assume that now we are at stage 4. In order to get back to a healthy situation, instead of using suppression, we have to reverse it with food. Food is always our medicine. And then from fourth stage, you experience healing crisis. And then you move on to stage 3, you still experience healing crisis. Then stage 2, stage 1, and hopefully we regain our health. Do not expect a person already of age and on the fourth stage to have 1 or 2 bottles of the food and expect to regain your health. That is logically impossible. Alright? You will have benefits slowly, and you need to reverse it over time. So that is the understanding of the reversal of path to health. Okay, so this doctor by the name of Stephen DeFelice, and he mentions in the concluding speech in a Health World Conference to a group of doctors and pharmacists. And he said that before my life is up, I expect if someone could come up with a nutraceutical can wipe off all the drugs. Just imagine a doctor is promoting, instead of using drug to recover our health, get into a good nutraceutical so that human beings can be wiped off drugs for good. And when these persons speak, I believe most of the audiences will listen and give him applause and get him that it's no, you're talking nonsense, you're too old maybe, yeah. But this on the person on my right, Dr. Raghu, is one of the audience, and he said intuitively he can feel that Dr. Stephen is right. So he have in his mind committed to himself, saying that let me be the one person that come up with one food that give multiple benefits, can take care of mankind. So Dr. Raghu, who is Dr. Raghu? Dr. Raghu has been drug discovery and genetic area or drug discovery for over 25 years. So he knows how the genes work, he knows genetically how the body functions. For the last 15 years, he decided to move into nano-emulsions and food supplements. And that's where we got this food from this Dr. Raghu. We will talk more about it later on. And there was this temple when Dr. Raghu decided to venture into the food industry. He happened to came across that there is this temple in South India, and 5,600 years old. The devotee there worship food instead of God. What they worship? They worship a food called jaggery. Jaggery is happen to be raw sugar. Jaggery contains the constituents of METADICHOL. When he reached this temple, that person in charge there was so welcoming him and saying that he will eventually be the person that come up with one food that take care of mankind. And eventually he managed to come up with this food called METADICHOL. What is METADICHOL? It's a very simple food that make up of 0.25% nano-emulsion, symmetrical size policosanol. It is a very minute size policosanol. And from where? Sugarcane wax. Something that we do not take it as our food, and process it by patent technology to form nanoparticles. Then, with 1.55% of others, plus 98.2% of Swiss snow mountain pristine water. So this is the combination of the food that we call METADICHOL. So we look at this. METADICHOL in terms of size compared to a virus averagely the size is 100 nanometer, where METADICHOL is about 40 to 60 nanometer, half the size of virus, so that it is identical in nature, and it was able to do the wonder that it got into our body. When this Dr. Raghu discovered this product, he went all over the world to get the product registered. Any country that we can name off, the product basically has been registered in that country. For example, Italy, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Mexico, Netherlands, Russia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia. The patent paper was submitted on 11th of March 2014, and the date of grant for patent is 22nd of December 2022 in Malaysia alone. Not only that this product has been patented, being a food, normally you are not needed to declare what is the functions of the food. However, Dr. Raghu declared 40 functional benefits in the patent paper itself. For paper number 1, declared 40 functional declaration, then 12, and then another 40. So whatever being claimed by this product that can serve mankind, you can go to the patent paper and look for it. Yeah. So not only that, most of the work and all of the publications of Dr. Raghu can be downloaded from this ResearchGate Scientific Network. Just go to the website and look for key in METADICHOL, and you were able to see all these articles, and you can easily download and read it for ourselves. So whatever laboratory test, whatever work needed, Dr. Raghu did not do it himself. He always outsourced it to the relevant authority. Because Dr. Raghu has been in this genetic work for 25 years. He knows exactly which hospital is great at what, and he outsourced all the work to all this, so that is to avoid vested interest, and biasness, So it is great, and we must be applause Dr. Raghu for that, paying handsomely to all these institutions to do all the needed research and testing. So the earlier case study was done in India in 2009, and this is a very popular hospital that most big pharma will use to do their clinical review paper. And here, the case study focus is control blood pressure in metabolic syndrome patients, and 7 male, 7 female, average age of 44.5, and the number of years under diabetics other than high blood pressure is 8.5 years, and no diet control for this case study. None of the patients were on hypertensive or statins medication, and they want to see by taking this food, can their blood pressure be normalized or not? The result came back. After 12 weeks, the endpoint target of 130/90 achieved. Fantastic. All the 14 patients. And blood lipid profile improved, and inflammation decreased, and antioxidant activity increased. That's what we want, because a lot of diseases are caused by inflammation and antioxidation. So if all these can be improved just within 12 weeks, the result has been fantastic and very encouraging, and it is just a food start without taking any medication. Let us look at this chart. Human being, we are made out of cells, maybe about 40 to 60 trillion cells, and we have two basic type of cells. It's called stem cells and somatic cells. If we look into the somatic cells, we may have 200 to 260 types of different types of cells. For example, body cell, muscle cells, blood cell, and so on and so forth. But more importantly, we are not just talking about the cells. Today, the key focus is in the 46 chromosomes. All these 46 chromosomes is found in the nucleus of the cell, which is the heart or the brain of the cells. Today, we are going to talk more about the chromosome than just the cells. In the chromosome, you have the DNA and you have the genes. And a human being, estimately, we have about 20 to 23,000 genes that work for us. So next, we move on to this very important slide. Let's pay some attention to it. So we have a cell. Inside the cell, what we have is the chromosome. You see, what we have is the chromosome. Let me see if I can show you. Let me see if I can have a pointer to show it. Okay, this is the cell out there, and the nucleus inside there, and you got all the YY shape inside here. This YY shape inside here is called chromosomes, and we have 46 of that. And the hole there, in the outer of the cell, is called the receptors, and this protective layer is called the cell membrane. So another very important item for us to pay attention is called the telomere. The tips of a chromosome, both the tips of the chromosome, you have what we call telomere. Telomere is the food, is the so-called ingredient to ensure whenever our cell divide, the cell can survive. After 50 to 70 times the cell divide, the telomere will be exhausted. When the telomere being exhausted, the cell died, cannot divide further. So if we want to live long, then telomere is the thing that we need to protect. So in this 46 chromosome, as we said earlier, it contains very importantly the 48 nuclear receptors. It contains all the 48 nuclear receptors. We will talk to you more about nuclear receptor later on. So here, take note on that. The chromosome is this. If you strengthen it, then it becomes a DNA. Then in the DNA, every segment of the DNA, you will find the gene inside there. It is the gene expression that eventually make us healthy or otherwise. So here, take note, you have the DNA chromosome, the DNA, and the gene. Got it? So we move on. If we really take care of our health and we make sure our telomere is still there, we should be able to live until 125 by calculation. However, the World Health Organization stated that the average lifespan of mankind is 72. And a lot of us by 75 to 80, we already vary a lot of health issues that we are facing. We cannot live as actively as earlier. So therefore, it is our challenge to use a food, go back to the nature, so that we can live healthily, actively, and purposefully till at least age 100. What about that? So we are forming a community that drive the possibility of this age. Yeah, if possible, let's come together. Here, this is a graph, a picture showing that all the 48 nuclear receptors. Yeah, why it is so important to know about nuclear receptor? The new 48 nuclear receptor in human being basically is the life operating system of our body. Just imagine if your operating system is at fault, how can your body function properly? So take note, 48 nuclear receptors is equivalent to our operating system of our body. So fundamental factors if you want to stay healthy or for disease or longevity, take note on that. Basically, these are the 4 important factors for us to pay attention. DNA and genes first. Second, very important is our food. Third, lifestyles. Fourth, positive mindset. Ask ourselves, of all these 4 factors, have we been managing them well? If yes, logically speaking, we should be quite healthy. So let us look into the first 2 factors. The last 2, we are not going to talk to you now. If eventually you become our community members, we will share with you more about lifestyle and positive mindset. Yeah. Today our focus is DNA and genes and food. So gene and DNA factors influence our physique, color, aging, disease, lifespan, and other life phenomena, determine our health, beauty, and longevity. This is a fact. However, because of our DNA differ from one another, some of us look we have the height, some of us we don't have the height, some of us we have the beauty, some of us we may not have the beauty. Yeah, so it is all influenced by our genes and the DNA. However, today with the advancements of genetic science, well, we can work on genetic area. So METADICHOL is one of the areas that can enhance our gene expression. We will talk to you about gene expression later on. Just take note, METADICHOL as one simple food can work in enhancing our gene expression. Okay, we move on to the next. Okay, the second factor that we are going to look at is the food. Yep, food should be our so-called medicine, or food should be the key thing that promotes our health and happiness. However, we have introduced 2 more things beside the food. The second one, the first one we have introduced is called drugs. The drug is not natural. Drug is manufactured. It is synthetic. And then we introduce another one which is called supplements. So therefore, in terms of food, now we have three different categories: the food, the drugs, and the supplements. And a lot of us take supplement in Malaysia, for we know drug cannot help us. Therefore, we will go for the alternative of supplementation. So, which is a very competitive and very profitable industry, marketing supplements. However, supplement, you also have the synthetic and you also have the natural part of it. But today, let us understand, we take the food, the drugs, and the supplements, how do all this work? So, let us learn a concept about biology. So, the food that we take into our body have to be chewed into smaller pieces, and once go into a digestive system, then you have to go through the process to convert into active ingredients, or called the molecules of food, or the ions, and that is called a ligand. A ligand is likened to a plug. So once you have a plug, in order for the plug to be functionable, you look for a socket, appropriate socket. When the plug and the socket match, you got the light. Yeah, and that's how we charge our handphone battery anyway. So in terms of biological sense, it is called a ligand, which is the active ion that have been converted from food, drugs, or supplements, and then this ligand will have to look for a receptors. There are two kinds of receptor here. One is called a nuclear receptor, the other one is cell receptors. Cell receptor is around the cell membrane, where the nuclear receptor is in the DNA. Got the point? So that is how the food that we take into our body function. So let's see now. If I have a food called a painkiller, or drug that's called a painkiller. So when we take in the painkiller have been converted into ion, and then this ion have to activate the opiate receptor. Then it will light up the bulb of the cells and suppress the pain temporarily. Okay, so if we look at metformin will have to convert into an ion and bind with transcription factor 4 receptor. Then it will able to help us to reduce the glucose level in our bloodstream. Next, we talk about calcium, which a lot of us are supplementing calcium for fear that we don't have a strong bone. And calcium, we take calcium, and you have to convert to ion and activate the calcium sensing receptor. If any of the receptor is damaged or oxidized or not functionable, all the so-called food that we take will not able to go into the cells, and it will not be any good help. Let's look at the next one. We call it METADICHOL as a food. It is called a multifunctional plug. A multifunctional plug can match with all the multiple receptors, and that's why it is being called protein agonist ligand. Protein here means flexibility, can transform in any shape and pattern. Agonist is a solution. Ligand is the ion, and match with multiple receptors. Because of this, the traditional pharmaceutical way is take one drug and bind with one receptor, if at all can bind, and give you one possible benefit. Where on the other hand, you talk about METADICHOL, and one METADICHOL, one food, can bind with hundreds of receptors, give you thousands of benefits. How about that? Isn't it a very wonderful food? Back to nature. The nature can know how our body works and help our body to work for us. So this this ligand is likened to be a joker. Or if you are playing the mahjong, it is called the fei. Yeah? Or if you like this movie, it is called the Transformers. Can turn into any pattern as and when it needed. Yeah? So METADICHOL is a protein agonist ligand, multi-purpose ligand. So here you can see from this article is clearly stated that METADICHOL expresses all the 48 nuclear receptors. Just now we said that as human beings we have 48 nuclear receptors. You can buy 100% of the nuclear receptor. Where are these nuclear receptors? It is in our DNA. Once it starts to bind, it will activate a lot of pathway in our body. So be it stem cell or somatic cell, this METADICHOL is able to bind with their receptors. So here, let's give a very common example. Now we talk about vitamin C, which is so critically important for our immune health. And our body, how do our body produce provitamin? Let's talk about provitamin first. In order for us to have vitamin D3, first we have to have provitamin, which is processed or manufactured by our cholesterol. And this provitamin D3 is around our skin. So when we expose our skin to the sunlight and the UVB, that UVB will able to convert our provitamin D to vitamin D3. That's why we need to expose ourselves to sunlight. That is the basic understanding. So once we have the vitamin D3 converted from provitamin D to vitamin D3, then it's still not usable for our body. Then we have to go through the liver to convert it into 25-hydroxy vitamin D3. That is the next process. After converting into 25-hydroxy vitamin D3, this is still not active. You need to process it further via our kidneys and convert 25 into 1,2,5-dihydroxy vitamin D3. It is the 1,2,5-dihydroxy vitamin D3 is in the active form, ion form, where this will be able to bind with vitamin D receptors. So this is the process of how we can have sufficient vitamin D125 to bind with our vitamin D receptor. Vitamin D receptor is critically important because basically it's found in practically every cells of our human body, and it is the immune system enhancing, protecting our health. Yeah, if you can have vitamin D receptor to work for us, we can easily overcome majority of so-called health issues. Okay, so the importance of vitamin C, the importance of vitamin D receptors. So here, if a person were to use METADICHOL as a food, this food have the ability to bypass the whole process and can directly bind with vitamin D receptors. That is to say, METADICHOL itself is an active ion. This active ion, once go into our body, can straight away bind with vitamin D receptor instead of waiting it to be converted to 1,2,5-dihydroxy vitamin D3. That is fantastic. This is the most important functions of the food called METADICHOL. Yep. And once it can bind with that, it creates so many bodily pathways, a series of cellular processes related to calcium metabolism, immune system regulation, and other important functions can be done with the vitamin D receptor, methodical binding with vitamin D receptor. So whether we like it or not, our body is a very complicated and sophisticated and dedicated mechanism. Until today, we still don't know how our body can so fantastically function. Trust our body. Our body is definitely our greatest doctor. If you want to outsource your health to others, outsource it to your body. Then it will be much wiser. So, just now we talked about this 48 nuclear receptor, right? 100% can be bind, can be expressed. So now, methodical not only bind in all the 48 nuclear receptor, it also interacts with all the 45 interactable chromosomes. As we said earlier, we have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs, 23 from the father, 23 from the mother, combined together, we become a human being. So we have 46 chromosomes, and this methodical, the food, interact with all the 45, not the 46, only 45 chromosomes. And because they can interact with all the 45 chromosomes, they express thousands of genes. They activate, they modulate, they suppress thousands of genes to work for us. And just imagine, wow, once you take this food, the whole our body genes start to be activated, start to work together. Some is to suppress it. Fantastically. The word expression here means it can be up-regulating, which means that activating, or you can be down-regulating, deregulating, which means that suppressing, or you can just modulate or even just maintain it. That is the meaning of expression here, gene expression. So you can see from this laboratory test, this food can interact with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the 23 pairs of chromosomes except the Y chromosome. The Y chromosome here, as you see, this is a shorter one, it's called Y chromosome. This is X chromosome. If we have the last pair as X and Y, we become a male. If we have X and X, then you become a female. So Y chromosome will not be expressed or intellect. So therefore, there is no way that we can change sex from this food itself. No way. Okay? So that is the understanding. So methodical expresses over more than 45,000 genes and to provide thousands of health benefits. That is how it functions. Once these genes are expressed, there are huge communication, so-called gene-to-gene interactions or gene-to-gene communication. You see the picture here is just likened to be a universe, Our body factually is a universe within, and that's how they interact with one another. But in order for them to interact with one another, you need to bind the nuclear receptors. So once the nuclear receptor is being bound, all the genes will start to work for us to regain our health, to produce all the proteins, all the nutrients that we need from within our body. When taking methodical, there are 242 gene-to-gene interaction happening in the body. While if you take metformin for diabetics, you only get 880 gene interactions. That is from Dr. Raghu, the way he expressed it, yeah? So now we move on to share with you, just give you a tips of all the so-called 23,000 genes. One of the genes which is critically important for us to understand is called crotogene. Crotogene here, KLOTHO, is an anti-aging. We don't want to age that fast, so therefore we have to up-regulate this crotogene, and anti-cancer and prevent cardio diseases, aid in impaired vision, lung damage, kidney diseases, stroke, impaired brain diseases, growth hormone deficiency, chronic stress, rheumatoid arthritis, anemia, hyperthyroidism, and others. Just one gene, by up-regulating this one gene, it can give us so many benefits. Why not? So go to Cancer Science and Therapy to download this article to read it for ourselves. Yeah. So next, we would like to talk to you. One of the mechanisms we talk about is called reprogrammed stem cell. I believe most of us have heard of stem cell therapy before, and it is very expensive, ranging from 50K to about 100K per treatment or per drip. Yeah. So this professor by the name of Yamanaka, a Japanese, in the year 2006, he is rather curious. As we know, as we age, the number of stem cells in our body decline, and then we cannot do the needed repair, and that's why we age. And also it's not as potent as while we are young. So this Yamanaka is curious about looking in the possibility. Can we turn our somatic cells, which are the body cells, which have 260 types of that, back into stem cell? So after spending 6 years using virus approach, he managed to come to a conclusion. Yes, it is possible, so long as we can express what we call Yamanaka factors. Yamanaka factor is nothing but the 4 genes. That 4 genes are called OCT4, SOX2, KLF4, and CMYC gene. If we can program these 4 genes, then you can reprogram adult cell, especially the skin cell, back into stem cells to do the needed repair. So currently, he is very popular, and when you go for his treatment, easily it will cost you $500,000 USD. However, we look at this one simple food called METADICHOL, and it is confirmed induces the expressions of Yamanaka factors. Yamanaka is a 4 gene. For reprogramming induced proto gene, we have mentioned to you, curb the expression of TP53, which is a cancer protein, increases endogenous vitamin C, leading to the efficient reprogramming of somatic cell into induced pluripotent stem cell. Induced pluripotent stem cell is much more potent, much more useful than the stem cell drip, which is the multipotent stem cell. So with that, this benefit alone, it is wise to know this product called METADICHOL. And earlier I told you, if you want to live long, you want to ensure your cell divide until 70 times. How to ensure your cell can divide until 70 times? Make sure that you ensure maintain the telomere. So how to maintain the telomere? According to this scientist called Carroll. Carroll in 2009 won a Nobel Prize Award, and he worked on telomeres and the enzyme called telomerase. And since 2009 until now, people already came up with the supplement called telomerase. Why supplementing telomerase? Because they hope to lengthen the telomere. So here you have this METADICHOL increased telomerase for long telomere. Just 1 picogram. 1 picogram is 0 with 11 0 behind before the 1. Increases telomerase supply by 16-fold. Thus prolong life. Just using this simple food, you can promote longevity. Why not? Fourth mechanism, which is the endocrine system. Now in our body, we have various glands. These various glands produce all the secretions and all the hormone needed for our body to function properly. And it also can inhibit aging and inflammatory factors. One of the things one of the ingredients that this endocrine system will look at is called N. And this ingredient is a very popular ingredient. A lot of people are using it as a supplement, but factually it is a drug ingredient and is banned in Europe and US as a supplement. So why people want to have MNN as an ingredient? Because they want to have the coenzyme cofactors called NAD+. And this co-NAD+ is good because it enhances our metabolism and energy level, anti-aging, prevent diseases, promotes brain and organ function, promote and repair DNA. That's why it is so good. Even our tycoon Lee Ka-shing is investing into the company NNM for the production. And well, in this METADICHOL, a simple food, this simple food itself, through gene sequencing experiment, is shown that METADICHOL induces synthesis of MN in our body. Instead of taking it from outside as an ingredient, which is quite damaging sometimes because this MNN is very unstable, need to go through our kidney and liver to be synthesized. Here we have this METADICHOL, our body itself can synthesize this MNN and convert to NAD+ for us. Why not? So next, it helps us in the productions of this hormone, testosterone, and improve the sexual function, increase the chances of pregnancy, strengthen bone and muscle mass. What about nitric oxide, which is so critically important for our heart health? And then we have the serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter. If you don't want to have neuro issue, Parkinson, eczema, and that, this serotonin is very important. It is a feel-good neurotransmitter, and carbohydrate, protein intake, and other factors lead to the increase of tryptophan in the bloodstream, which can increase the chance of entering the brain, be converted into serotonin. So this is the process, and it can stabilize mood, emotion, sleep, appetite, and other physiological process. So for those people who cannot sleep, look for this. And lastly, I would like to highlight to you another hormone called melatonin. This one enhances sleep, a potent antioxidant, moderate immune system, support brain health and cognitive function against neurodegenerative diseases like eczema and Parkinson, regulate moods, depressions, and stress level, have a role in convert cancer prevention to through these antioxidants and immune modulating property. So therefore, take note on that melatonin and serotonin. You got to sleep early because melatonin is produced when there is a complete darkness. So sleep early, sleep in darkness so that your melatonin can be produced. Serotonin can also be converted into melatonin through the process. You need to have vitamin C and so on and so forth. Next, very quickly, we are talking about this METADICHOL can kill practically all viruses and bacteria, fungal, and overcome inflammation, pain, itchiness, and all those. Such a good product. Just one product can do so many other goodness, and also at the same time can kill all viruses practically, including HIV, including COVID. So therefore, this product also can help to prevent vaccination side effect and long COVID. Have you came across one product so far that you know of can do so much wonder to our health? I don't think so. Yeah. So here in summary, they are working on 4 mechanisms. One is the gene expression through the protein agonist ligand, and second is reprogrammed stem cell, and lastly modulate endocrine system to work in totality for our health. So if this is possible, then various kind of health issues, be it skin, flu, diabetes, hypertension, heart attack, stroke, nerve cancer, liver, kidney, lung, thyroid, prostate, joint and bone and hair and aging, all these can be managed with just one simple food. So in summary, I've listed down here for you what can METADICHOL do. Productions of vitamin C, bind with vitamin D receptor, reprogram stem cell, express 4,000 over genes, inhabit virus, fungal, and bacteria, overcome vaccination side effect and long COVID, and produce telomeres, generate MNN, hormone productions and balancing, binding all nuclear receptor, and more, because I don't have the time to tell everything here. So just take note that it is possible. Okay, so however, in the marketplace, we are used to the supplement concept. You like to take various kinds of supplement. Just imagine you have to get all these supplements into your body. How stressful can it be? How effective can it be? Will we not jam out our body by supplementing it? So forget about temporary, forget about the supplementing yet. Build and re-establish the base of our body so that whatever food that we take, they are able to absorb effectively. Then we depend much lesser on supplementation. The wiser approach always is let the body generate itself. There is no stability issue, there is no overdose issues. Okay, and this product is so good that I love it so much because it is no shaking method, no mixing, no drinking, no swallowing, no time wasting. Just spraying. Yeah, one spray. We talk about promoting 1 trillion symmetric nanoparticles into your body to work for us. And the benefit is immediate. Well, the effect may be felt much after, yeah, but the benefit to the body, rest assured, is immediate, and is using nano-infusion technology, direct ultra-fast absorption. It is so easy, so simple, so good, and it is so portable at the same time. So we will have the health, we regain our